Hello everyone, thank you so much for coming back. For those of you who are new, welcome, and I hope you like what you find here. These are going to be your general readings for the month of July. I do want to mention again, like I did in my last mid-month reading, that the Uranus 7-year projections are available for you. Tremendous amount of information coming through. That information is down below for you. And these readings in July are general, so if they don't make sense to you, listen to your other signs. I don't want to keep this intro too long. Keep in mind that sometimes certain things will make sense to you right away, and sometimes none of it will make sense to you right away. From what I gather, from hearing from you, it almost always makes sense to you at the end of the month or the beginning of next month. So do listen to it again. If it doesn't make sense to you, I do want to stress that I don't know what it is, but in the month of July, there's this incredible feeling of release. So many of you will feel that. You may have been going through it and feeling it already, but there's a tremendous amount of energy. I feel like it's trying to push through us, which will catapult many of us forward into various new ways and various new beginnings. So overall, it feels very exciting. It might be scary for some of you because the newness also represents not knowing what's to come. So there might be a lot of surprises too. But generally speaking, there is this uplifted feeling of excitement, but also I don't know what's going to happen. And not because it's bad, but because it's I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what waits for me at the end of this journey, whatever that is. So do keep in mind that this is general. For private session, of course, that information is down below for you. Thank you so much for liking, for sharing, for subscribing. If you wish to comment how this connects with you, I read every single one of them. Please do. I would love that. And above all, whoever you are and you have any birthdays in July, happy birthday to you. And have a great month of July, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye. Hello, beautiful Sagittarians. This is going to be your these are going to be your messages for the month of July 2018. Let me get on with some channeled messages first. I want to tell you the energy that I feel when I connect with you in the month of July. One of the things that I feel, it's interesting because I feel a sense of sadness. Now, don't freak out. It's nothing bad. But the reason why I do this is because what I feel because I feel like no one hears me. I feel I'm not being heard, but it comes from a place of not believing that there are other people out there who support me, who believe in me, who can help me. I feel very much a sense of aloneness. So there might be a sense of isolation for some of you. Now, I'm asking my guide, why am I saying this? And I feel like the reason why I'm saying this is because I feel some of you need to crack open. You need to crack yourself open in order to be able to find those who want to help you. Now, what do I mean by that? For some of you, you pretend you need no help. But it's ridiculous because every single person in the world at some point in their life needs help. That's why we're born around people. So if you are overly stubborn around the idea of always wanting to do things by yourself, ask yourself the question, number one, why do you feel this way, and what is really underneath it? And number two, where does it come from? And I hear the words rejection and stability. So something to do with lack of stability at some point that was probably connected to the word rejection. And that usually happens in our early years, but it can also happen later on. So I saw that very clearly, actually. So this is what I feel. So no, month of July is not going to be because you're going to feel sad. It is just right now I feel sad because some of you, whoever I'm speaking with, have this idea that there's nobody there for them or nobody there for you to either love you, to help you, to appreciate you, just to accept you the way you are. So that's a huge feeling that I get. The number 9 was being shown to me, which is also always the number of letting things go. Letting go of old ideas, all preconceived perceptions about you, the way you think about yourself, the world, letting things and people go that no longer serve you. This is a time of letting things go. I also saw, and this was really interesting, because I saw someone either hurting you over and over, and you're letting them hurt you, or you are hurting somebody over and over. Now, obviously, if you are hurting somebody and you are conscious of it, don't do it. But more than anything, this is for those of you who are allowing someone to hurt you over and over, and it's almost like you're kind of standing there and you're numb. And I'm going, why are they doing this? And I hear, because they don't believe there is any other way. So if you are in a relationship where somebody's hurting you, emotionally, spiritually, physically, all of the above, or, one of those things, you have to look at yourself and ask the question, why do I choose to continue to do this to myself? And I hear the word trap. So for some of you, you are trapped in a relationship, trapped in a situation, trapped in your own sets of rules or in your own prison. And by the way, you do have that. So that was being shown right away. And then when I saw somebody hurting you, I literally heard the word stop it. And it was like, stop it. Stop allowing yourself to be hurt. And for those of you who connect to this idea about rejection, you may have felt rejected in the past, and you keep attracting situations that have a similar feeling, and it just keeps happening over and over and over again. Now, I also saw that some of you are not wanting to hear something, and I said, what is it that they don't want to hear? And I was shown they don't want to pay attention because it's too much work. So some of you are either oblivious to what's going on, or you just don't want to see and don't want to hear. And it's because it's easier to accept things as they are, because oftentimes they're familiar, and at least when they're familiar, you know what to expect. Change is always, almost always, difficult in many aspects, but particularly because change also signifies something has to be no longer, and to us humans, it connects as losing something in the process. So it could be just losing the idea of not having the safety of expecting something over and over. So there's an expectancy here. So if you are someone who's in a situation and you are allowing yourself to be hurt over and over again, not wanting to see it or not wanting to know about it will not create the desired outcome that you want. In other words, if you're wanting something more than what you have to be willing to give up the thing you don't want. And I'm going to let that sink in for a while. I actually love that. Then I saw some of you were looking at a goal, and you were trying to figure out how to get to that goal without doing the hard work. And I thought, okay, you're looking at a mountain and you're trying to be at the top, and you're trying to figure out, how do I go from being on the ground to the peak at the top of the mountain without doing the hard work? And my guide is like, it ain't gonna happen. So some of you are trying to avoid something that potentially can be difficult, can be certainly uncomfortable and hard work. But the message clearly is, whatever you're looking for, there is a journey that you need to undertake in order to get there. So you can't escape it, and you can't escape the journey in order to get where you're going. So for those of you who have ideas about anything, better relationship, better career, better work, better people in your life, more money, more love, whatever it is, abundance, whatever it is, in order to get there, you have to first realize why you're not there in the first place, which is about looking at yourself, not from the point of view of blame, but from the point of view of recognition that in order to allow something to come in, you almost always, certainly often, have to let something go that is not fundamentally serving you. Is there anything else? So that's what I heard. That's what I heard as far as the messages. Now, you got the Dolphin. So Dolphin is a message that tells me right off the bat, whoever this connects to, whoever you are, you do not understand your own value and how much difference you make in the world. And you don't have to be, you know, a famous person. You can be a regular person who goes to work 9 to 5, and just by being who you are and people connecting with you, you make a tremendous difference in the world. So there's a huge need here to recognize your own abilities and your own healing powers. So for some of you, this will be the esoteric healing powers, if I can call it that way, but it doesn't have to be an esoteric thing. You may have a way of saying something to someone that makes a profound difference in their life, and you didn't have to put your hands on them, but you said something that was very healing to them. So don't let the words healing powers throw you off with regards to what it can mean. It can mean literally anything. Anything that you have as an ability to help somebody is a tremendous gift, and it's under the umbrella of healing in my book. The other thing that I keep seeing is releasing yourself from burdens in the past. I had to stop the recording. So for those of you who are noticing something different, I had to stop the recording and I had to start next day. And I believe the reason why is because what's coming here was a little bit different than in the previous reading. And this is way more important. So I'm getting new information here. I've never done this before, and he's asked me just to continue instead of starting fresh. So huge need to recognize your own abilities. When I asked what it is that you need more of, you got the crow. And whenever I see the crow, to me it always says stop hiding. And the crow to me symbolizes a lot of actually healing. There's something magical about crows. There are thought to be mysterious. They're thought to be shapeshifters. There's a very shamanic component to them, so there's a healing component to it. And what I'm being shown here is that whoever you are, there is not only is there a need to recognize this, and that we talked about that just a second ago, but what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing is that many of you are shying away from whatever that is. And it's to do with exposing yourself or not wanting to expose yourself. And then I hear the word failure. So this is for those of you who are hiding your talents or hiding your abilities because there is a word failure attached to it. And obviously if something to us speaks of something uncomfortable, well, we're going to avoid it as a plague. So if you are scared of judgment or criticism or whatever it is that you are hiding, chances are it was a very painful situation at one point and you're trying to avoid it. But there is, being told to say, there is a calling for those of you who choose this path going forward, and the responsibility is tremendous. And this is just came through off the hot press, as I call it, which is also interesting because many of you will be releasing burdens from the past, and for some of you, these are burdens that are pertaining to you being attached or other people's attachments to you. You're choosing to move away from that. So the word responsibility is huge. And if you have in the past felt responsible in some way, or that has been your pattern, you're so responsible, you basically live for others, well, if you have a gift within you that is meant also to be helped with others, you're going to want to avoid that. So I totally understand that. The other thing about the crow message is that they're very sharp. Their mind is very sharp. They're very resourceful. They can see, and I hear the word keenly. I'm going to have to keen, K-I-K-E-E-N. I have to look up what that means, my English for you. So there's an ability for them to see very, very clearly. And it's also being asked for me to say, see in the dark. So this is for those of you who can see certain things, whether in situations and others, you have a keen ability to see something. And this just doesn't have to be psychic. It can be anything. You may be looking at a tree and all of a sudden you see a shape, and then you end up designing something of that nature. And that's just as an example. Now, moving on to regular cards. When I asked what's going to be transpiring in the month of July, or what it is that you need to know about, it's very interesting. You have the Devil in reverse. You have 8 of Pentacles in reverse, and then you have 3 of Cups in reverse. So I see it as a story, and so I'm going to talk about it as a story, and then we'll talk about the meanings of the card. So there's definitely a need. I'm not going to say need. There is a need, yes, but you are already in the process of detaching yourself from something, and some of those things are lack of inner stability. That's what I want to say. And I want to say that wherever it comes from the fact that you have felt, I want to say the word rejected, pushed aside, neglected, and I want to say the word emotionally. So if that is the case, if you have experienced that growing up, or particularly when you were younger, this would definitely keep you stuck, and it would prevent you from many, many things, particularly when it comes to relationships. And that might have been something that has been called holding you back. So that's one message that's coming through. The other message here is that there is again, there's a sense of betrayal somewhere in the past, and perhaps that's why you guys are hiding. And I'm going to say words past lives, although I try not to get into that in these general readings, because not everybody may believe in that. But there's almost an association here to having gone through this over many lifetimes, and I don't know what that will mean to you. It means nothing to me. So if you have been told that, or if somebody has mentioned this to you, consider this as being something very what's the word I want to use? It's a reminder for you. Not only reminder, but also validation is what I want to use. The word rejection is huge here. Now, because they talked about needing to recognize your own abilities, if you have been rejected, you will probably hide yourself. And when that happens, you're not able to fully be yourself. So this is what's going to come up for some of you, if not for most of you, in the month of July, I want to say between July and September. That's what I'm being asked to say. What is the most important thing that I need to tell them about this? Stay focused on what you need, not what you have to do. Now, and then I hear the word obligation, financial obligation. So I'm not saying if you have an obligation and you don't want to do it, you're not going to do it because it doesn't feel good. But there's a message for those of you who are meant to hear these specific words. Doing things for others all the time doesn't help you. So this is a message for someone. It could be just one individual, and maybe that is also to do with responsibilities. So there may be a tendency for you to overdo things for other people. Often when that happens, it stems from some kind of a fundamental belief system, and generally it's a way of getting affection, getting validation, whatever that is. So that's coming up as well. Now, there seems to be a bit of a warning, and what I mean by this, you have the card Milk and Honey in reverse, and what this is saying to me is that there might be a tendency for you to, I want to say, drown your sorrows, not because something bad is going to happen, but because that may have been the tendencies you've had, whether it is working too hard, drinking too much, eating too much, gambling too often, whatever it is that momentarily seems to solve the problem because you're not thinking about it. It actually has long-term effects that are detrimental to your health. As a matter of fact, I'm being asked to say it's hazardous to yourself. So whatever it is, drugs, whatever it is. The other thing that is coming up is the card Here and Now. in this position. All basically this is saying here is this is a time to look within for the validation. It is about looking within to find your peace, to find your greatness, and not look towards others or towards outside to define what that is for you. So that's very interesting because it kind of ties in to the whole message towards the end. Let me just see if there's anything else here. The need to take a breath, or to take a moment to take a breath, and the need to meditate is very, very high, particularly in the next 5 to 6 months, for whatever reason. And that is because apparently there's going to be a lot of changes for quite a few of you, and some of those changes are going to happen very fast. So it's really important to keep balanced, and one of those things is to find time to keep your mind calm. There's a lot of hard work for a lot of us, not because it's bad, but because you're working hard towards achieving something, but there's also some sort of an absolution. Something is ending, and the way it feels to me, this may be a legal case when you've been working towards something and finally there's a judgment made, or life is just finally coming to a point where you're ready to see what's next, and you actually are ready for the next step. So I want to say the word absolution, and there's a need, there's a movement forward. The number 8, I want to keep stressing the number 8. It's all about power gained, but also power given, strength gained, strength given. So responsibility is a huge word for you. So whatever that means to you, take it for what it is. For those of you who it makes no sense, listen to it at the end of the month or the beginning of August. Thank you again so much for watching, for sharing, for liking, and for subscribing. Of course, this makes no sense to me, so if you would like to comment how it makes sense to you, I would love to read it. I always do. And of course, this is a general reading, and if you would like the private session with me, that information is down below for you. Thank you again so much. Enjoy the month of July, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.